Okay, good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are today. My name is Andrew Little, and I am a software engineer here at Trilogy Software. And today I will be talking about Client Manager, and specifically how to create a report of clients who need to pay the CRA. So how do I use Client Manager to find specific returns that meet a specific criteria that are perhaps not covered by the standard filters or standard search functionality. So I can really delve deep into my clients, my returns, and find those specific returns that I'm after. So what am I going to be showing today? So what I want to do is I want to create a specific report that shows me all the clients from this year who owe the CRA money, and from those clients, I can create a list or export a batch, a report to Excel, or at least find those particular people in Client Manager, and then act accordingly. Perhaps I want to send a follow-up letter to remind them that, unfortunately, this year they owe some money to the CRA or the filing jurisdiction, and that they should plan for that eventuality when the payment is required, or if they have installments to make. So first off, I'll quickly cover Client Manager and the various batch operations. Just quickly go through those. Then we'll be settling in on the batch calculate. We'll be using that to find returns that meet a specific criteria. For this example, I'm going to be looking at if someone owes money to the CRA, but you are not constrained to that. You can use any particular data point within a return to filter those results and really narrow down your client base or your client list to who you want. And lastly, we'll just simply be exporting that list to Excel. So if you really want to dive into it and using some of the powerful analytical tools that ship with Excel, you can go ahead and do that for further analysis. Righty-ho, so let's get started. I'm going to switch back to TaxCycle, which is conveniently pre-opened. I'm going to come here to the Client Manager search bar. I'm simply going to push enter. That's the same as clicking find all. It's just the shortcut and the easy way to do that. So as you can see, here are all my specific clients. What I'm going to be doing though is just narrowing those down a little bit before I start. I'm only interested in 2018 returns for T1. There we go. Just to narrow my list slightly, as we can see, I now am showing 89 of the 490 clients I currently have indexed with Client Manager. So what I'm going to do for the sake of the webinar today is just pick on a handful of clients. Obviously, everything I show here is not constrained to a handful of clients. You can run this against your entire client database if you wish. So I'm going to go ahead here and select all the members of the Sims family. And then the Petersons. Oh, I have this new test. I've noticed that. I'm just going to remove that. There we go. I left that there from an earlier webinar. So there we go. There's a quick shot of how you can remove someone from Client Manager. So now that I've selected these particular returns for the batch operation, I've got 6 returns selected as indicated by my batch indicator here. And you'll also notice that these returns now have the lock icon next to them that indicates that I, in my instance of TaxCycle, has now got exclusive control to these returns. If someone else in the office was to open the Sims family return, for example, they would be notified by TaxCycle this return is open somewhere else and you won't be able to make changes. That is by design. Once you've selected an item for a batch operation, you essentially claim control of that file and you own it. And we prevent others from making changes to it whilst you have it retained in your batch. So now that I've got these the 2 families here selected, I'm going to go into my batch view by clicking on the batch items button there. As I mentioned earlier, the first thing we'll be doing quickly is just covering the various batch operations you can do from TaxCycle. So by default, it starts on the carry forward. So if you wish to do a bulk carry forward of returns, we have others for transmission. You can select all the various transmission types. We recently added support so you can transmit, for example, T1 e-file for multiple years, all in one go. If I wish to print various either print sets or individual forms for the members or the returns that are selected in my batch. We can print labels. If anyone uses Dynamo printer or anything like that you use for mail correspondence with your clients, we can batch print the labels. The return purpose, if you carry forward your returns, you can say, well, I've carried forward these returns, but since they're so new, I'm going to indicate them as for planning purposes as opposed to filing purposes. You can use the return purpose batch function here to revert those from planning back to filing at some point in the future when you've completed your planning process and decided that you actually wish to file those returns. But today we're going to be looking at batch calculate and what this can do for us. So now we've had a quick run through the various batch functions, a very high level run through. Today I really wanted to focus on batch calculate and using batch calculate to find specific returns that meet a criteria. And in the case of today's webinar, finding my clients who owe money to the CRA so I can take further action if needed. So I've selected batch calculate here. Here is the standard batch calculate view. What we can do is we can run up to 5 individual expressions, querying different data points within the returns that are selected in the batch. Now, we don't expect everyone here to know the exact field code for the expression and have to type that in. We do have some shortcuts, so I'm just going to show that today. I'm going to right-click on Abigail's return here. I'm going to open this in a new window because I don't want to close my batch view. You'll also notice, as I mentioned earlier, that traditionally we lock a file when it goes into a batch, but since I've opened up the Sims family return, it's temporarily removed that lock so that I can actually open it up here. So I'm going to use fast find. I'm going to go to my T1. There we go. You know what, I'm going to make this scale a bit better so I can see the form better. There we go. I can resize that a little bit just so I can see everything and utilize my display. So find, Control F, because I'm too lazy to scroll. I'm going to go down, and goes, this is your refunded balance owing. So in this particular case, here is the balance owing field. So what I want to do is I want to find all the clients within my batch where this particular column contains a value indicating that you owe money to CRA. So there's multiple ways that I can grab the field code from here. The easiest way is to simply click on this hyperlink, click once, and now that particular field code is copied to the clipboard. So I can go ahead and paste that into my batch operation, which is what I'm going to do. Alternatively, of course, you can right-click on the field. We've got copy field code and copy field code with curly brackets. That's depending if you're using the template editor, for example, and you want to reference a particular field. So I've got that field now. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my batch. And then I'm simply going to go ahead and paste my expression in there. So I'm going to remove the curly brackets. It will work with them. I just like to keep it nice and clean here in my view. I also have the option of removing the current client because the batch will infer that it is the current client within the return that we're looking at, that we're wanting to look at the balance owing field. So I can give this the description, CRA. So now that I've added my description, you'll see that the batch calculate has dynamically added the column for this particular query. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, before I start that, when we run a calculate, we have various views. We can just do a calculate only. We can calculate and also update the review messages, rerun the review system so we can see if any new review messages have been generated since perhaps I last looked at this return. And of course, we can do that with the option of optimizing the return as well. Just to keep the view clean, I am not going to do with review messages because the review messages would also be displayed here in the results and they can get quite tall. So I'm going to change to calculate only. And then I'm going to go ahead and click start. And as we can see, oh, I don't have it for everyone yet. Oh, I already have this return open elsewhere. Oh, I should have closed that when I was finished with it after I copied that particular field code. So I'm going to close that. I'll close down this other instance of tax cycle. I'm not going to update right now. As we can see, I've got my locks back to indicate that I have exclusive control of these files. So I'm going to run that again, and there we go. There are the rest of the values here that we're looking at. So as we saw earlier, I simply copied from the return the particular field code that contained the data on the return that I was interested in viewing to query. And I gave that particular column a description. So what I can do, I'm just going to copy this one here and we'll copy that same description. Balance owing, I'm going to put dollar amount. So I can also use, I don't have to query for the specific a dollar amount, I can actually say for a value. So if I'm only interested in everyone that owes more than $2,000, for example, and I can use the condition right here in the calculator and click Start. So as we can see here, we've got the balance owing field as indicated by our first expression here, but the second expression has a bit more, is more constrained. We've added another condition on top of that, which is I only really want to know if someone owes more than $2,000. In this particular case, as we can see, Howard here is unfortunately owing $4,500 to the CRA, and hence this condition here is true. Even though Mabel here owes money to CRA, she owes less than our threshold as we set here in our query, so therefore this result comes through as false. Now, if I wanted to add some more, this query system here in the expression is built on top of the data monitors, and you may or may not be using data monitors exclusively a lot whilst you're preparing a return, so you can keep an eye on particular fields and particular values as you go. So I'm going to go and use the expression editor here. As you can see, this is very similar to the data monitor. We have the standard help if you need some more help with this as we go, but I'm going to pick an expression. Again, we can use any of the presets that you'd use with a regular data monitor, and any data monitor expression that you've created is perfectly relevant here as well. So in this case, I might just pick on the combined refund balance due. We've got the various descriptions. As indicated here, this is the field it's going to query on the return, and I'm going to change the color to purple. There we go. As we type, a tax cycle will inform you if we don't know what the color is. We have all the standard colors and so forth, as well as some of the more exotic colors available to us. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. As we can see, it's automatically added this expression for me using the editor we saw, given the relevant description. And again, we've added the dynamic column here. So what I see in real time. I click Start, and there we go. So now we've seen the combined refund column, this particular data point, in the color that we want. Now, what I've done here is I've simply used the standard refund balance owing, but you're not constrained to that. You can query any field on anywhere in the return, whether it be a business statement or in the engagement form or some other piece of information and so forth. For example, perhaps you want to query that someone is getting a refund, but they haven't entered their bank account details to have that automatically deposited on the return. You can set up a query to do that. So find everyone where they get a refund, and then find everywhere where the bank account number is not entered. You can create that query here. So does that. We are at the moment constrained to 5 particular queries at once, but we've normally found that is more than sufficient to narrow down the returns that you're particularly looking for as you run this particular feature. So lastly, that's very good. I've got these particular returns that I've identified that meet a certain criteria that I want. So I want to do a bit more a deeper dive of further analysis. As with all batch operations or batch search results, I can simply click on the little Excel button here. I'm going to go ahead and export my batch report to Excel, and then I can look at this particular data, and as what I see on screen is what I get in my report, and so forth. So again, you can use this to filter down or narrow down particular clients that meet a particular criteria. There's not much else to show for exporting to Excel other than, like everything else, is what you see is what you get. So that pretty much covers today, the topics I wanted to cover today. So hopefully you found this useful. And there's a new tool here that TaxCycle offers through Batch Calculate that you can use in your practice to help your filing season go as smooth as possible. As always, if you hit F1, we have exhaustive online help for client manager, batch operations, and so forth. So if you want to delve a bit deeper into a topic that I covered today, please review our online help. It's fantastic, and it covers all the scenarios that the batch as well as Batch Calculate can cover. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to email info@taxcycle.com. And we always love to hear your feedback or any other comments that you may have. So with that is today's webinar done. I hope you found this useful and added another tool to your tool set in preparing returns for the season. But do a good day for the rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.